What's going on, crew? We're back in Orange County at Westpac with Mark Baker, and we're gonna have us another lesson with Mark through the eyes of one of our contest winners. So we have Amir with us today. He's a two-finger no-thumb bowler for all of you guys out there that are dying for information in the two-finger no-thumb community. We know it's a growing style in the sport that people are really gravitating to, and we got a treat for you guys. You guys are gonna have a one-on-one lesson with Mark through Amir today. You got anything that you're excited to see in this lesson?
I'm just excited to see the growth of bowling and two-finger no-thumb bowling as well.
It's contagious. It's been growing like wildfire. That community is getting huge. So shout out to all the two-finger no-thumb bowlers. We don't have Earl here today, but we got Amir filling in for him. So we got Mark behind us trying not to coach while we're doing this intro, but he can't really help himself. So we're gonna dive into that and see what he's talking about. But yeah, we should have us a good time. Make sure you check out cleanupcrew.shop if you guys wanna get your merch. We have a Discord that we're dropping as well, so you want to join that community, be able to get some more knowledge, some more behind the scenes, maybe even some exclusive footage. Make sure you check that out as well. And yeah, man, let's go see what they're doing over there. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
How are we doing out there? Coach Baker here today with Amir. Amir, pleasure to meet you.
Great meeting.
So Amir, how did you become a no-thumb, two-finger bowler?
I guess it was just seeing everyone hooking the lanes all the time when you're younger and just trying. You can't really do it with your thumb, or you don't know how to. So it was like the easiest way is just two-finger and just at first just rotating
Another way
the
of
ball.
putting it, chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah.
That's it. The
Yeah.
more you hook it, the more people like it. So then you had some injuries you tell me about. So
Yes.
I have to, as a coach, I always have to know about past injuries. I got to be able to coach around them. So you said playing basketball. As we get older, you got to
Yeah.
be careful there, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So what were your injuries?
MCL, and then I dislocated both my fingers.
Right.
Both
so that's
my bowling fingers.
right. So that makes it very hard to
Yeah.
rev. So you want to rev it up with dislocated fingers. That's usually pretty tricky.
Yeah.
So now what happens is, now this is the new bowler I'm getting the most at the training center. My newest client is the hybrid. They start out with just their fingers, no thumb. They kind of start like a two-hander in the beginning. He goes to a one-hander pretty quick. So these are all the Tom Doherty bowlers of the world. Big TD out there in Tampa, Florida. So the key is timing. So what happens is, because there's no thumb in the ball, the thing I'm worrying about is his ball timing being early and the ball coming off this side of his hand. He comes over top. I bet you tend to miss in, come over the top, they go left. So it's all about timing. It doesn't matter if you're one-handed with your thumb in or one-handed with your thumb out. I got to get this, go ahead and slide. I got to get there, so when he comes through here, he's adding that rotation out here in the front, and his head doesn't go in front of his knee. When his timing gets early, then he goes here without a ball in your hand. You see it go there. Well, he doesn't have his thumb in it. So if his hand rotates too soon without a thumb, it's down and left, and everything goes left. Then he moves left, and he's a 2-8-10. So what we're going to work on is making sure he has a nice smooth push away. He's very athletic, very strong. We're just trying to get his legs ahead of his swing. So he rolls off his hand. It'll feed to the Baker box. Let's see what you got.
Okay. All right. That works.
I know it looks like on these videos this happens every time. It doesn't. But that was like, okay, you can go home now.
Yeah, we're done.
So we got to break that down a little bit. All right, so here we have Amir. We worked on having a little more of a push away because it's all about timing and turning that ball later. So here we go. The first shot, we've got the ball going out. Here's the key. Now his slide foot is getting flat in front of his head and the ball's behind him. When we first started, his ball was down here by his right knee because he had no push away at all, so he was pulling it back and pulling it down. So what's happening is all of his balls were going left. Now, as you can see, watch this, so you can see my baseboard where his head is. His head's barely moving, but now he's adding that rotation out in front of his toe, but his face hasn't got in front of his knee. And there you go, he finishes the swing. Look how little his hand actually rotated. People get that wrong, how much you have to turn the ball. He barely rotated it. But now watch his ball shape. I mean, you can't go through the pins any better than that. Yeah. But watch again here as he does it live. Look how good his balance is because we controlled his head by his timing. Look at his balance. He's not moving. So when I see that balance, that's usually when I see this ball shape. Now when you go through the pins in slow motion, the 3-6-10 turn into dominoes, and it just rolls right over the 20th board. But now the fun part of bowling, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
And since I put the tape down there and showed Amir where the Baker box was,
Yeah.
his consistency has definitely gone up.
That's to visually see it.
Yep.
Missed the little end.
You see his head went down, so that you could tell by the tilt of the ball, the axis tilt, it stood up way, way sooner because his hand rotated and that ball landed closer to the foul line. Do it again. There's always very specific sets of issues that come with every style of play. Early timing and early rotation with bowlers without their thumb that are two-finger always seems to be it because their rev rates are so high. But their backswings are short because there's no thumb.
Right.
On the two-hander, they can hold on with their left hand longer. With the two-handers, the left hand's never on it. So the timing is actually the most critical on two-handers. That's on the one-handers with no thumb. That's why I think it's a big advantage for guys to be strong. The best two-finger, no-thumb bowler in the world is obviously Tom Doherty. And Tom is a very strong guy. Even though he is 50 now, Tom's still pretty strong. Love you, TD. So much of the videos now are just about release, but they're kind of skipping a few pieces in there. You can have the best release in the world and work on all the one-step drills you want, but if it isn't hooking from the right place, it's kind of irrelevant. So I get it. I mean, everybody wants to see the ball hook. I have no problem with any of that, but make sure the accuracy and the balance and the timing are also a part of your practicing routine. People tend to use those words and think nothing of it. I still think accuracy is the most important part. And this year on tour, you're seeing a guy put it on him, EJ Tackett. You can't say enough about how great he's bowled. It's just amazing how consistent he is every week getting his ball down there at 45 feet and rolling through the pins correctly. So besides his rev rate being 5'10" on every shot, he is unbelievably accurate, and now you're seeing domination. See, now you're making the lanes look easy that really aren't, right? He was missing inside his target, but he turned it late, got on the lane, so the lane pushed to the spot. Now lanes are pretty easy. See, what happens is when you get going fast, you move the ball before your feet quicker and quicker, so your timing gets earlier, now you're not as consistent.
Right. Yeah, I got quick.
So timing with a two-finger, no thumb is everything. Because if your legs aren't underneath you, the only other power source you have, Amir, is your shoulder. And when your shoulder turns it, well, there's no thumb, so it falls off on the inside of your hand. So your ball does that real quick.
Slow down my feet.
No, not slow down your feet.
No.
Walk.
Walk. Okay.
It's actually the opposite.
Okay.
Slow down your swing.
Okay.
Your swing's fast, your feet are slow. Nobody in the Hall of Fame with that criteria. That time your legs were ahead of it. I like when you make me look smart.
Yeah.
So he was going to slow his feet down. I'm a big 70-30 guy. 70% lower body, 30% upper body when it comes to effort throwing a bowling ball. Probably the two best are Pete Weber and Parker Bone. 90-10 guys. 90% lower body, 10% upper body. Neither one really had an injury in 40 years of being great bowlers. So if 70-30 what he just did, if he would have slowed his feet down, that would have made his lower body number smaller. That by definition has to make the upper body number bigger. Once it gets to 50-50, it's no longer a swing, it's a throw. When you throw it, you cannot have a consistent release, and more importantly, you can't have accuracy. 70-30 is to have a swing. Swings are what create accuracy. So when I made his feet have a little better rhythm, that was more 70, more 30. He hit his target. His release does the right thing every time. So remember, it's always a 70-30 rule. Lower body versus upper body. There are no good bowlers with slow feet and fast swings. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Got your legs ahead of your swing.
Yeah.
So your hand just added rotation at the end. You didn't fall off your hand at the beginning.
Yeah.
Balance is by far the most effective thing to work on in bowling. The balance and the timing allowed your release to function.
Right.
Remember that when you do all those drills about your release, if you have timing and do balance, then I believe the drills will help you. If you don't have timing and balance, I'll just leave it there.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
My job isn't to make every other coach in the world be mad at me. See, when your timing is better, then you can take advantage of your release, and that's how you create area down lane.
Yeah.
That's been going on since the history of bowling. The bowler with the most room for error always wins. You got a little bit in. You actually threw that really good. It was just in. Balance is beautiful.
Yeah, 16.5.
Yep. There you go. Head got a little forward.
Okay.
What happens is, when he goes to slide, go ahead and slide. See, when his head's in a certain spot, his hand does this, okay? So now he can throw my hand out and rotate it, no problem. But now there's no ball in his hand. My hand doesn't weigh, 4 ounces. Now if I move his head down and forward, look what happened to his hand. Because the distance between your chin and your shoulder never changes. This is a set distance. So when his head goes down, that brings his shoulder socket with it. So all that did was roll that in. This controls this. Your thumb isn't independent of the rest of your body. If your head goes forward and your shoulder goes forward, your thumb has to go with it. So when you miss it on the inside, come over the top. Now in a place like this where I have oil in the middle, it'll move to the right. If you bowl a pattern that's really flat or a sports shot, and your head goes too far or up and your thumb goes down, it goes Brooklyn. So I always say the same thing. If you can control your head, you can control your hand. Earl Anthony wasn't wrong. His head never moved. He did not have the greatest release of all time. He may have had the most consistent release of all time. Arm was quick.
Yeah, I got too
swing. So that's what happens. He thinks his feet were fast. His swing was quick, so his feet tried to catch up.
Yeah.
So when you're told you have fast feet or you feel like you have fast feet, invariably your swing is early, so your swing gets behind you too quick, so you run to get back in time. But what happens is you can't, because if your feet are quick catching your swing, the last step you've got to hit the brakes or you're going to foul. So nobody wants to do that. So then at the end you take your legs out of it. The only power source is your shoulder. Inconsistent release. He didn't hit a target.
Yeah, smidge right. Yeah. Yeah, it's literally went like 1 or 2 right.
No adjustment to make there.
Yeah. I think all my missed shots have been my push away has gotten
Quick.
yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
About to throw 300.
When it goes more out, it swings back. Your legs get ahead of your swing, and then it's a swing forward.
Yeah.
If you pull it back, you got to pull it forward. Your shoulder's a socket. You can't pull it you can't rip it into a backswing and have it magically turn into a free swing. Once you pull it up, you conversely have to pull it down. Once you swing it back, then it swings down. And swings create accuracy, and your last 2 shots split each other. Right?
Okay. Yeah, especially not having
Good
a thumb.
shots are not a coincidence. So your hands got quick. There was no push away. A little quick, so that was just so much faster.
Yeah,
your swing was going.
Yeah, I went up.
Man, he just can't miss.
Brooklyn, pocket, we got it all covered. So as you can see, even with no thumb, 2 fingers, no thumb, hybrid bowler, one-hander, it's still about timing. It's still about balance. Still about hitting a target, using that break point control, what I call the Baker box. Amir, pleasure working with you. Congratulations on winning the free lesson.
Thank you.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
Clean up crew. What you gonna do is the clean up crew. Come on through to the clean up crew. Throw them balls, I hope you do, with the clean up crew. The clean up crew.
What's up, crew? It's Rich TV here, and if you or a brand that you may know are interested in sponsoring any of our videos on this channel, make sure you reach out to us, cleanupcrewbowling@gmail.com. We would love to have you. We have some spots open, and we want to continue to grow this game of bowling that we all love. So if that's you or a brand that you know, feel free to reach out to us. We do have sponsorship slots available. It can be per video, it can be a package. We're open to it. So just reach out, and see you guys soon. Until next time, shout out to the crew.